Well, since Sonic came out, I saw Sonic in the theaters. Yeah, I know you didn't see it, but yeah, I saw Sonic in the theaters, and it made me think of maybe doing Mario Bros. We came up with that day because I thought it'd be kind of cool thing to do. Sonic is doing really good, even though it's not set in Sonic's world and all that, right? But it's like, it made me think of the old Super Mario Bros. Movie from 1993. And you actually never watched this back in the day? Is that
Nope.
true? Or
Nope,
wow,
never. I hadn't seen it until today. So
wow.
that it was well, because I was back in the day, I was very much a purist of sorts. So this was not Mario Brothers. So it was just like, I'm not watching that. There's no way. It looks stupid. It can't. It's not my Mario Brothers. So I'm not watching it. And I successfully didn't watch it for however many years up till the point where I agreed to watch it for this. So
Yeah, well, it
amazing.
came out 93. I'd be like 7. I didn't see this till it was on VHS. My mom just gave it to me right away. She's like, "Yo, you know that game you play?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "This is the movie." I was like, "No way, right?" I thought it totally wasn't the movie, but uh,
Hmm.
the thing is with this movie, I think all the practical effects, the acting for the most part, I really like, and there's so much about the movie I do like. But if it wasn't Super Mario Bros, it probably wouldn't have the stigma. If it was just called like two guys go to Dino other
Yeah,
dimension or reality, it
yeah,
might be a fine movie.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah, I agree.
like
Yeah,
it might not be as like because if you just look at it as like two guys in this Dino land, yeah, it's a weird zany movie and stuff. But I mean,
yeah. Sticking,
like
I'm very much, I'm of two minds of this movie. This is the thing. Like, it's a very strange film.
it holds up way better than I even thought though, because I have seen this movie probably like anywhere from 50 to I don't think 100 times, but 50 to like 70 times. Me and my ex would watch it probably once a year. I saw it like probably like at least 20 times as a kid. Not even liking it just because it was on Super Channel or something at the time in the 90s, right? But um the thing is, yeah, I have a love hate like because like as I got older, I was like, oh, this is nothing like the game. This is stupid, right? But I really do like what's his name as Luigi, I can never say his last name.
Leguizamo or
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah. Bob Hoskins from that Roger Rabbit movie and stuff like that. But they have good acting, like good enough. Like definitely Bob's is better because like he's the most experienced actor. Besides, what's his name that looks like Max Headroom? What is that guy's name again? Koopa? I don't know the
Oh,
actors.
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper. Oh my God, he's good. The acting he did, even though it's corny and weird, I think like he played that character.
Yeah, you see, yeah, I mean Dennis Hopper really he can sleepwalk his way through most things because when you hire Dennis Hopper to do a role, you want Dennis Hopper in the role. So he just is himself, you know.
I know, and it's so good though,
Yeah, no,
because
he was probably the best part of the movie for me.
yeah,
Like,
he's great.
yeah, but that's only because he just was just I kept wondering like how like what made him take this role? Like because it's not the
Because it
best role,
no,
but
because it was on that point where that was like it could have been, they didn't know if it was going to be hit or not, so it was like the next like big thing. And what really killed this movie, guess who came out in the same year? Jurassic Park, and
oh,
that
okay.
just that
Yeah.
took, you know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, I was what would I've been when did this come
90,
out?
93.
So I was 22 when this movie
Mm-hmm.
came out. So I was not the target audience of this film.
No, me,
So
yeah.
I mean, like for
Well, who
me,
really was? Like I probably was, but like it's also has like what this big, like that big black lady with her boobs out. Like I mean,
mhm,
like is that for kids? Like and all this stuff. Like you know what I mean? Like is this movie for kids or is it for adults? You know?
that's what I was wondering the whole time I watched this because like it's not for kids because it's just not there's too many convoluted plot points and it's too dark of a movie. Like, you know, it's very Blade Runner-esque in a way
Yeah.
and it's
Oh,
in
it's
a
all
way.
made from the Blade Runner guy that shot that. That's the guy who shot this. Yeah.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean like
Got that. Good point. Thank you.
a kid watching this movie would not be like, "Oh, this is great. I really like the way this movie looks and stuff." It's not very kid friendly in a way. There's some, like kind of weird kind of creatures in it and stuff.
Yeah, no,
But
they're
like,
creepy. Yeah.
but it's certainly not made for adults because it's cornball. And I mean, the acting in a lot of cases in this movie is really dubious. Like, you wonder whether this is all just first take because it's
Well,
not.
yeah.
It feels really cheap. And the VO work, the voiceover stuff where they had to like redub their voices in, it doesn't match like anything that's happening. Like, you can tell that it's just voiceover work, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, I mean, that's just me being critical of it, but like it looks really good. That's the problem with
Oh
this
no, it
movie.
looks great. Yeah, no, it's shot great. Like the thing was too, like the directors, like they were a married couple, and they actually like they were so mean to everyone on set that like everyone at crew, including the two Mario brothers, hated on them. And the Mario brothers were drinking every day heavily on set, like, and that's you can see it. Like they look boozed out. Like
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot going on this movie. Like the shooting of it, everyone hated them. Like it was like yeah, like pure evil. Like people even said shirts, I think, like that they wish that like they were dead or something. Like it was that bad on set. Like, and these people, like, yeah, they were drunk and like like you said, the acting for me is like okay, because like what's his name, like you said, like this Bob Hoskins and Koopa, like even though they're probably not putting into like their other roles, it's just them I find like is believable.
Oh no, for sure. Bob Hoskins, that's the thing. He's a character actor, so he can do this and make it seem serious.
Yeah,
Whereas John Leguizamo or whatever his name
he's
is,
too corny for Luigi.
I know he's too corny, and just the way he delivers his dialogue is just so, it just feels so rookie, like
Fake.
yeah, fake, like he's just saying words.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's
and
trying to play the character like so shiny, like or naive, kind of, or not shy, but naive or something. But it just doesn't work, I don't think.
no, it feels like they should have picked someone else for that role.
I don't know. I actually really like how he looks, though. That's the part. Like as a kid, I really liked him. I still do. Like I think he like fit always like the look for Luigi for me, but it was just like the like yeah, like when I rewatched it, I didn't realize he was so silly and stuff. I was like, oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
He was like the one I was looking forward to because I don't even know if I crushed on him as a kid or something weird like that, probably. And then like yeah, then I was enjoying Mario, who thought was like a complete buffoon when
Right,
I was a kid, and now I'm like
right.
enjoying Mario more. But I mean, like all aside, like this movie is like I don't understand why they put like because I guess in the '90s, like reviews on this movie I've seen before and stuff, people are always talking about like the '90s was the dinosaur time, so they just threw it in here because it's so like it just feels so thrown in there, that dinosaur part.
Oh, it certainly does. I mean, it feels like well, the way that they explain it in the first like 2 minutes of the movie, it feels like, okay, everyone, this is the thing you have to believe for the rest of the movie. They kind of like throw it in right at the beginning, so that there's the dinosaur alternate universe or whatever, and everyone there is dinosaurs that have evolved into people, and so you're like, oh, dinosaurs. This movie's about dinosaurs. It's
Mhm.
not, and it's such a cheap throwaway concept that, when they can discuss it in the first 2 minutes of the movie and just be like, okay, well, I guess this is what the movie's about.
Yeah.
But it feels really like a cheap plot, like device.
Yeah, it does. It seems planted in there because you didn't really need that. Yeah, you could have still had an asteroid maybe hitting and like splitting two parallel realities, and like they go into another world, but it didn't have to be so heavy on dinosaurs because like even Yoshi, like didn't like I know he's probably like a lizard type dinosaur in the game, but it's like it was never about dinosaurs. It was about like turtles.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I don't think the people who made this movie
No,
really like
based it on.
considered the source material. Like they did in a way. Like
I
I was
know.
surprised at how many shout outs
Oh, they got
that
some
that
good stuff in there.
yeah, and like just low key shout outs even, that the Mario game got in this, like to
I
like
know.
background
They
sound
did.
effects, even just weird stuff that I kept hearing
I
that I was
know.
like, oh, okay, well they did that, but
I
it's
know they had so many good points. Like then they showed like the mushrooms and like they had the bombs and the little other guys in the boots or whatever. And like the bullet bills were like the things for the boots. But it was
Mhm.
just like the little hints and like it just yeah, it's so cool. Like that part they kind of did well. You know what? The beginning is so long. Like before they get into the other
Yeah,
world, like it's like an
yeah,
hour worth almost. And the movie only gets good once again near the last 20 or so minutes. Like when they're both in the suits finally, like the red and the green.
yep.
I mean,
That's
I'm into it a bit. I really am. Like I don't know. I feel
yeah,
like I
that's
don't
what.
think it's a great Mario movie like from source material wise, but as its own weird thing, hey?
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. Like it sucks when the last act, the last third act of the movie is the only part that's actually any good. I hate
I
sitting
know.
through two-thirds of nonsense to get to a good part of a movie, and that's exactly what happened here. Like you said, until they changed into the jumpsuits, that first third of the movie was just painful. Like
I
it
know,
was
like
so.
when they're way too long as the like when they're actually fixing pipes and stuff,
I know, and just because they're
driving
trying,
around.
yeah, they're just trying to drive the plot forward by a series of unrelated events that you have to buy into in order to get to the last third of the movie. And it's like, I hate that when you have to like shoehorn everything into the first third of the movie. And that was the case with The Rock that we just watched. It was the same thing. The first third of the movie was just horrible. Like it was hard for me to sit through. And I mean, you know, like that they're trying to kill time and stuff when there's a car chase. And sure enough, there's car chases in this, and you know
Yeah.
it's like, my God, does this have to happen like in every movie that I watch?
Yeah, The
That
Rock, I'd say for me, it's like not as bad, like because like
No,
the
no, it's not as
beginning,
bad.
like compared to this, even like it's stronger. This is like really weak. Like it's 22 minutes and something seconds before they even jump through that wall to get into that world. Like,
Yeah,
isn't it, you know,
yeah, and
that
and
much setup?
yeah, and the whole setup with the dinosaur excavation and the mob boss and the just
Hmm.
the whole them being plumbers and not having any work, and the Princess Daisy stuff or whatever it is. It was at the very beginning. I literally, I'm like, if this movie is just all this, I don't know whether how am I going to sit through this. But once
Yeah,
they get
yeah.
into that other world, once they step through the wall and walk through that kind of into that different alternate like dinosaur world, I was like,
Oh yeah.
I was mostly impressed with the sets and the way that it looked. Like I thought there was money put into this movie.
Oh, there was so much money. They had so much investment. Nintendo gave them free control of anything they can do. That's another reason it has so many things in it that are weird because Nintendo said do anything you want with it. And
Wow.
they regretted that and they've never made a movie until now. Like another Super Mario Brothers movie's in the making right now, but it's animated, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, they went from one extreme to another. But there's tons of money. Like I said, Blade Runner stuff has to do with this huge actor. Like the one guy. Bob Hoskin cost a lot of money at the time, and it was just it was meant to be something big, and it became a cult movie because there is, like you said, the sets look amazing. There's other little tweaks about it that like once like they get going, like honestly, when they have the suits, it like I'm like way more invested in it. I'm like, why didn't they have the suits like 40 minutes ago?
Yeah,
Like,
no kidding. No kidding.
like you said, like this movie, like yeah, when I first watched it, and I've said, I've seen this close to like 70 times in my life, and even when I first put this on again, I was like, oh, this beginning is so bad, and I was like, does it get better? It's like it probably gets cornier, but it comes through like I wouldn't call it, like I said, it's not a great Mario movie, but there's something like different. If it was just a different dinosaur movie, like, and I've heard people mention something about this, I think before, but you know how all the cars are like on electric?
Mm-hmm.
It's because they don't have fossil fuels or something, or what? Like I don't
Oh
know
yeah, that makes total sense.
something.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, and then yeah, there's the of course the most controversial, the like blown up trade centers and stuff,
Well, I mean that in retrospect, that is a very cringy moment when it's like, oh, yeah, this isn't gonna hold up. As soon as I saw that, it was like, oh, okay, so King Koopa's castle is the
the
World
trade
Trade
center,
Center.
and it smashed.
Yeah,
And they
okay,
even
well,
showed that one disintegrating in real
I,
life.
oh yeah, no, I was gonna screenshot that and send it to you because I was just like, really? Okay, well, I guess,
Yeah. I feel bad for all the people, like, of course, for the real 9/11, and people were killed, like, whatever
hmm
people believe about it. But the thing for me is, like, I have been a Trade Center fan, like, as a kid. Like, it was in, like, Home Alone 2. For me, it was the buildings, it was the face of New York, it was
Yeah,
America, you
yeah, it
know?
was King Kong remake. That's where King Kong climbed up.
Okay,
So I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
so it's yeah, exactly. It's very iconic, and I guess well, I mean, of course, nobody thought what
No,
happened would happen. So it's like, let's put it into, they even cut it out of the Sopranos intro because on the when they started replaying the Sopranos, because it's like, oh, this might be too hurtful to put
of
this in there.
course.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
to
No, for
see it
sure.
in here, it was like I was just like, oh God, no, this cannot end well. Like this is not gonna,
Yeah, it's
this won't
crazy in
age
retrospect.
well.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it hasn't, but it gives it like another dark, creepy,
hmm
mysterious, deep feel. It gives it a new feel looking back at it, because you didn't at the time. You're like, oh, back in '93, you're like, oh, it's just the trade centers. Who cares?
Yeah.
King Kong jumped on there. Boo hoo.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Exactly.
like I said, all my stuff goes out to the people that really did die and all that. It's just, but it's just, yeah, it's part of the times. And it's just, like I said, it adds to the eeriness. Like, what did you think about Iggy and his brother? Like, did you like them? The two
Um,
henchmen?
well, I, I guess I did, but because one of them was Fisher Stevens, and he was in, I guess, what was that one? Short Circuit. He
Yeah,
was in
yeah, yeah. He
Short
played
Circuit, right?
East Indian guy when he wasn't East Indian.
Yeah, yeah. So, which also wouldn't hold up in this day and age, but still, like, I thought it was okay. It felt like like it was felt as corny as wrestling feels. Those two guys, they felt like they were just dumb, just stupid. Um, they, I didn't hate it. You know what I mean? I didn't hate it.
Yeah,
I kind of got it. You know what
yeah,
I
me
mean? They're
too.
just dumb henchmen of an evil genius.
And I
Like
like the
that's
flip of them being dumb to being kind of smart or dumb
Mhm.
smart. At least, yeah, like.
Yeah, yeah. No, I did like that. I have to admit.
Yeah, no, me too. I've liked that surprisingly more than I thought. And I really like that guy who's in Short Circuit because yeah, we gotta bring that up on here, man. That made me cry. I love that movie. I want to marry that robot to this day. Even as a kid, I was like, I need to marry that robot, and like that's a feelings haven't changed at all.
Yeah, and I mean, like it was one of those cases where it's like, their bad acting didn't bother me in the slightest. Like that was the
It's just
least of
pretty
my
corny.
worries.
Yeah.
Exactly, it was the least of my worries at that point. I mean, they were better than Leguizamo, and for some reason,
Mhm.
because he's usually really good and stuff,
I know. I was
and
surprised how bad he was in this, to tell you the truth. And I liked like his look, and like I liked him as a kid. So
yeah, me too. I mean, that's the thing, but like it's just I think it's just the source material and the dialogue and
he was
it
probably
felt
pissed drunk.
yeah, he's probably pissed, exactly. So, but he was kind of like the 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 kind of like the part of the movie that just didn't work for me. Like it was every
I
time
feel
he
like
had
at the
dialogue.
end he was better though when he was in the suit.
Oh yeah, but even still, like
Yeah.
everything seemed a little bit rushed at the end as well. So like
Yeah.
it's it had as far as I'm concerned, he was like I don't know, the part of the movie that just didn't gel for me. But like, necessary at the time, having a name like that in a movie, there were three big name people in this movie.
Hmm. No, I know, and yeah, for sure. The thing with me is like I thought like he was so good in this as a kid, and then like I rewatched it, and yeah, it's overacting, and it's just. But for me, I think I let some of it go more. Like I said, especially when it starts to pick up, and he's like getting a bit more better confidence or something.
Yeah.
Still corny, but like it's just not the Luigi. Yeah, like Mario's way the cooler guy for sure.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure. He really is.
Yeah, he's the man. Like he gets stuff done. Like and yeah, those boots that they're in. Guess what? The jumping boots or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the magnetic boots worn in a Face Off in the magnetic jail or whatever.
Okay. Well, let's see.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. That came out years after, but 97 or something. But
It's good that they saved the props for from this fine
yeah,
film.
yes, using Nick Cage's.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the little hints like the mushroom, the bomb. I love the bomb part for some reason, and like it reminded me of the second game always as a kid when like the castle, the guy at the castle was turned into like a animal or something. This guy was turned into the fungus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I kind of
Well,
did like.
yeah, I mean, and it didn't occur to me right to the end that like so this whole area, this whole city is covered in this fungus, and that's the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, the
It's the
toadstool.
mushroom. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, holy cow! Like they even managed to squeeze in something that they didn't even mention. Like
Hmm.
Mary's been running around in the Mushroom Kingdom forever, and this
Hmm.
movie like literally is about that. Like,
Yeah, I know, I know, I know. I remember thinking that back when, and when I watch it, it's like, yeah, there's layers in this movie. There really is, but it could have been it had so much potential to be better. It really did.
yeah, well, it certainly had potential to be better, but I don't think I think a lot of it just went like there was back in the day like that. There were too many cooks trying
Mhm. Oh, way too
to
many.
in the kitchen in this case because it's just it seemed so jumbled up and so many ideas crammed into an hour and a half or whatever it was, and they could have easily tightened this movie up and eliminated like at least 20 scenes in this movie, and it would have probably ended up being better.
Oh
And
yeah,
you know,
yeah, and like the weirdest things they flipped around, like Goombas usually have big bodies and little feet, and this they have little heads and big
hmm
bodies. Like it's like what?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
even as a kid, I was like, this is backwards, man. Like, what is going on? Like, I thought that, like, still to this day when I see it, I'm like, well, why is it all weird? But
Yeah, yeah, no, it seemed really weird. Like those the costumes were
I
just
know,
like it
freaky.
was yeah, it was freaky, but like the animatronic heads and it was just you could tell it was just like a guy in a big suit like but it's still like they spent the money on the animatronic heads and it's like well why didn't they there could have been it just was such a weird design choice for those guys. Like it
Hmm.
worked. I was fine with it. This is
Yeah, no,
yeah.
it's its own thing. Like I said, it's just like kind of a reverse Goomba, like it's a big head and little feet, big body and little head. So
Hmm.
it's like it does work in a weird sense. And yeah, at the time, it's like okay, we'll just put people in suits and like shrink their heads down.
Well, at least they use practical effects. Like I'm still
Yeah, this movie
confused
had
at
so many
like
good effects. Yeah,
I mean any CGI. I don't even know whether you
like
could call it
just the gun
CGI.
shooting that gun or something, maybe.
Yeah, and when they kind
Maybe
of all
more.
pixelated at the
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
that was, I mean, of course, that's not going to hold up to scrutiny today. I mean, it's going
No,
to look like
it looked
crap
weird,
no
but
matter
like
what.
I didn't mind it some of it though for some reason because it was so little. Like there was just like the
Yeah,
littlest amount of CGI. Like even when they faded away, I was like, yeah, it looks bad, but I thought it looked bad 20 years ago.
right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like the Yoshi, like at first when I saw the
Yoshi's
Yoshi,
cool.
I was like, well, wait, is that CGI? Because I couldn't believe that like it was.
It's a little robot.
a
Yeah.
puppet. You know what I mean? I was like, it has to be. Like, how can it not be CGI? It looks like CGI. That was the thing. I was convinced that,
It's
like,
great.
it's the one thing that was good CGI and it was Yoshi. Thinking back, and I'm like, no, that has to be a
No, it's a
robot.
puppet because people were like so obsessed with that. They're like, Yoshi's so cool. And then they saw that T-Rex in Jurassic Park. They're like, who the
Right?
hell's Yoshi? Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's like that Yoshi's good though. That's the end of that old school puppetry and like old school robotics, animatronics. Like I love that Yoshi. Like he's so good. Like he's one of the best parts. He got the tongue even. Like he licks that woman up.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
no.
Yeah, no, I know.
I don't
That's
know
the
if it's a saddle or a shell on his back. I don't know what the debate is on that, but is it a saddle, is it shell? But yeah, like if it had a little red sash on it, I would have probably
Oh yeah.
loved it as a kid. But
Hmm. No kidding. Yeah,
he's the
no,
best part. He's my favorite part as a kid was the Yoshi. Yeah,
yeah,
because
I
like you
think
said, it looks real.
yeah. Well, that was the thing. Like I couldn't figure it out. Like based on the time the movie is, it had to have been a robot, but I was still thinking, I'm like, CGI nowadays, that would just be CGI. There would be
Mhm.
no robot. There would be no, nothing there. They would just be acting to a tennis ball on a stick, and they would add it in later because it was so good. It looked like modern CGI. That's
I think
that's
it looked better than CGI. To tell you the truth, I like it better more. I like the puppet more. I'm always been a
yeah,
fan of it more.
yeah. No, I was.
If you just added some CGI like sweat to it or something, yeah, you would be like, you know what I mean? Like they could do that like overlay of like some like so it looks kind of like it's like wet or whatever or something
Hmm.
more, but a little
Hmm.
more in depth detail in the skin. But yeah, have the robot because it looks so good. But I guess it was the end of that era or in time. Like they started like Jurassic Park had the puppets and all that, but that was kind of the highest point of that stuff, and like then it just never was. That was it.
Yeah, that was it. This was it at the end of an era.
Yeah, totally. One of the greatest eras, probably like for dinosaurs and all that type of stuff. But yeah,
Hmm.
they threw in this movie, like the ending when she comes back, the Daisy or whatever, is
Hmm.
they leave her in the kingdom and then she rolls up like there's gonna be a sequel or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know. That was they did that a lot back then, just hedging their bets that there was ever going to be another movie in this series. Like, no way.
I know. You won't believe now or wwhatever.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, like when like Koopa or whatever, yeah, it's not even Bowser, he's Koopa. I don't
Hmm.
what, but like when he's like, yeah, it turns into like a T-Rex for a minute inside of that like cart. It always kind of reminded me of it like in Super Nintendo when he's flying around in that cart. You know what
Right.
I mean? Yeah, even though
Right.
it's not that, but it's like he's in a bucket, so
Yeah, and then when Mario and him were facing off at the very end, they were on like a raised bridge, just like at the
Oh
very
yeah.
last level of Mario,
Yeah.
just like at the last level of Mario. And I'm when you're fighting him at the end, I'm like, what? This is amazing! Like it's such a subtle touch, and you know that that's what they were thinking because why
Mhm.
would they do it otherwise?
Yeah, no, I don't
And
know. Yeah, he was in his bucket. Yeah, like he was like there was the bridge. Yeah.
and yeah and Bowser's or no, it's not Bowser. Koopa's shooting fireballs at him, and
I
I'm
know
like,
everyone used fireballs. Yeah, that's another good thing. They didn't
yeah.
use guns, they had fireballs. Yeah.
Well, and everyone like they had those like shoulder those guns, and those guns are those NES super scopes.
Yeah, the super scopes.
I
Yeah.
was like, what? As if, like, holy cow! Nintendo's letting them like do this, like
Yeah.
use actual Nintendo props in the thing, like.
The bomb had Reeboks on.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Like, what's the point in that? I just that was eye roll
I
material. Like,
know.
why?
Reebok. Shut
Like,
up.
what on earth were they thinking?
Late 90s like brand reference or whatever.
Totally, like
Reebok.
ridiculous, useless, like addition to the thing.
I know it took me out for sure, but yeah, no, that ending, like I know when he's on there holding on that like on the thing being held or whatever, the bucket, like he's holding on there and he's shooting all the fireballs. I mean, it's like it's not Mario, but it is. Like I
It
don't
is
know.
exactly. No, that's the thing. It's not, but it is.
It's kind of like if they did it another, if they went, they kind of halved it, you know, like they didn't kind of fully commit to one direction. I find in this movie, like they could have kind of went the more surreal, like totally reference based, like realistic Mario, kind of like Batman Begins
Hmm.
kind of thing. But they kind of like one half, and they didn't go all the way through, and then they kind of sprinkled this dinosaur thing in it last minute, which it feels like to me.
Yeah,
So
uh, I mean, they couldn't have just used the source material because there's no storyline there. You have to inject an actual plot
Mhm.
into this movie, or else there's nothing to do. You can't just have a guy jumping, hitting question mark blocks, and eating mushrooms and like jumping on a flagpole. Like, there's no, tell me what kind of movie that would be. It would be crummy. So,
Mhm.
like, as far as like making a movie out of a Mario like concept, this is fine.
Hmm. And if they just kind of instead of went the dinosaur way, maybe like Koopa maybe had like more of a shell or something. Like maybe they just had more like like actual like turtle types or whatever more than dinosaurs. You know what I mean? Like I always thought the dinosaurs is just out of nowhere as a kid. I was like, why is it dinosaurs? You know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you have the benefit of seeing this movie like when it was like newer. Like, I'm watching it for the first time in 2020. I
Wow.
really don't think this was made to be watched for the first time in 2020. Like,
No,
it's
that's great. I'm glad you got all this from it from your first viewing though, because
oh no, for sure.
Cause yeah, I have seen it a lot, but I mean, like it's always one of those hate watches where I like put it on the beginning, like if you just get through this part, then there might be a couple moments at the end that you really get that feeling, and you do get it. I did get it when he's on that thing hanging off of Koopa's bucket. I was just like, this is pretty. I like it when he was in the red suit.
No, it was great. Yeah, seeing them like run up like
Mhm.
on the screen together in those outfits, I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, this is what it's about. This is
Yeah,
actually what
the
it's
last
about.
20 minutes, it's like
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
know.
Yeah, no, I kept looking at the progress bar when I was watching this movie and like waiting to see like, okay, what's Act Two gonna be? Because this Act One is awful, and Act Two they finally get into the alternate world there, and it all starts. That's when the movie starts,
I know.
like, but they still like that whole chasing the necklace scenario. It's such a contrived plot point that it's like it's the only thing moving the movie forward, and that necklace changing hands, changing, and it's eventually going to get back to where it belongs. But it's like the painful process of having to go through that because they had nothing else to drive the plot forward. So they just
Hmm.
kept on having to create these scenarios in which this necklace is the main character. And I'm like, no, this isn't. I mean, like, it shouldn't be about that. And like, I don't know. I mean, there was some bad, like
Hmm.
the all those
That's the
girls that
weakest
were,
part, that
yeah,
necklace
yeah,
part.
and all those
Horrible.
girls in the
All the
jail cell. I
Brooklyn
mean,
girls and
oh,
stuff.
that was
Yeah.
just awful. It was
So funny.
just awful.
Yeah,
Like, so bad. Like, none of those people were actresses.
I
At
know.
no point were those people taking acting classes.
Hmm.
Like, it was just it was painful to watch.
Yeah, it was some 90s like Brooklyn talk or something.
Oh, for sure. No, it was just thrown in to just add another 5 minutes to the movie.
Yeah, it was weird. Like they could have had like Mario's girlfriends locked up in there, but not the other people. It was kind of weird.
Well, yeah, it's that whole thing that like you have to be paying attention in the first 5 minutes of the movie, or else these people would be no one to you. Like, if you didn't, because it's like they only reiterate the fact that girls have been going missing in Brooklyn for the last 3 months or whatever, and they only discuss it briefly in the beginning of the movie, and then all of a sudden, an hour and 10 minutes later, all of a sudden they go into this jail. Like they're it's kind of like, nah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was because like what the brother or those two guys, Iggy and them, they were
Yeah, they couldn't figure
kidnapped
out they couldn't
girls.
figure out who Daisy
Daisy
was.
was. They
They're
kidnapped these
dumb.
random. So okay, yeah,
Oh
okay,
yeah, and I mean another good homage to Mario. Like I don't know whether this like makes sense or not, but like the first level they went to after they left the city was the desert, and you're always in any Mario game, the first place you go in any of the Mario game, Mario 64, you're at the pyramid. Paper Mario, you're in the desert. The even Mario Odyssey, first world you go to after the first place you are, you're in the desert. It's always the desert level at the beginning, and that's where they went in the movie. They went to the
yeah. No, they
desert.
went into the desert. Yeah, I
And
know. See, they could have done so much more there.
I know, but I mean, like, so subtle. Like, I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
even going down the pipes was pretty subtle too.
going down
You
the.
know.
I see. I didn't even realize that till the end.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I was like, oh yeah, they had the pipe stuff. I was like,
Totally.
yeah.
Like, there were just so many subtle things that I'm like, who was on, who was in the continuity like department here that stuck this stuff in that it just feels like, you this would suffer a second watch just to find extra stuff in it, like in the background
Oh
of.
yeah, no, there was tons, man. There was like on the one sign for the movie was like Teenage Mutant Mammals or something.
Mhm, mhm.
So that was funny, Ninja Turtles. And they mentioned pizza. He was like wanted a pizza. That's so 90s, man. Early
Yeah,
90s, getting a
yeah,
pizza.
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, like so many good things, so many references. Like yeah, like I forgot like too when they go down the tube and like it's
Mhm.
kind of icy. They go to the ice world type stuff down the tube. Like it's
Yeah,
icy.
exactly.
But they're not even plumbers in real life, right? Like in the game, like in the real continuity. Do you know all that? Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess they're not really I mean, they were only they kind of like were made to be plumbers afterwards,
Hmm.
like I guess they were plumbers in Mario Bros. Like yeah,
Oh,
I
people
don't
say they're
know.
not really plumbers. Like they're not really plumbers. I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to sell you a game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's you kind of have to. I mean, with that, with Super Mario, continuity is not one of my areas of
I know. I
expertise,
just
but
know people get so crazy about that.
yeah, but
And yeah, I always tell people like they're like, "Oh, do you have the amiibos with the Mario for in the so I can put them in a wedding dress or whatever?"
mhm.
It's like, yeah, I know. I wish we had more of them. But no, I know continuity on it is so tough. I just hate like I just feel kind of ignorant not knowing or something. But I mean, there's so many different things. Like I looked up as much as I could. So
Yeah, no, I went into this completely blind. Like I thought, I'm not gonna IMDb it. I'm not gonna do
Hmm.
anything until after I watch it, and because I just don't. Nothing is gonna make me come into this movie prepared for what I'm about to see.
No, and I think a lot of people felt that way because yeah, at the box office, epic failure. So
Yeah, I can only imagine. I
yeah,
can only imagine this thing
yeah, like
dying.
I said, they never wanted to touch movies again for at least till now. So almost 20 years, like 18 something years.
Yeah,
Nintendo hasn't wanted to do anything else, so discard their brand.
yeah, well, I can understand that because this was, I mean, as far as a film is concerned, this is not the kind of thing that Nintendo should be putting their name. I mean, I don't recall seeing their logo anywhere in this movie. So,
No, and they only play the music at the very beginning too. Like I wish they played that, like some more classic music or something in the movie. They missed out.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even in the background, that would be nice. But
Yeah, you only hear it once, just like right at the beginning, and
yeah,
yeah, the cover, just everything about it, like it just like brings back so many memories seeing the old the poster or whatever. But
yeah, the poster. I mean,
I
I
like
mean,
the poster.
yeah, I mean, it's the poster's really cool. I have to admit, and I mean, like, it does like give you the
Yeah, what
vibe
it
of
could
the
be.
film,
What
right?
it could be. Like, yeah, like they got the boots, okay, like that's how they're gonna explain the big jumping and like okay, they
Uh-huh.
have tools, like and they just like yeah, it's about Mario, like they're just gonna be doing stuff in a level, right? Like, but like it's not what you like just seeing this as a kid, I thought this was gonna be something else, just like that movie Commando that I never watched. Like it gives you that feeling like this could be something terrific, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This should have been this should have been out of the park. Like this should have been a smash hit, but it's an
Yeah.
underground hit. People do appreciate it for some of its acting, for some of its camera work, and its all the practical effects. People have to give it some credit looking back, but
Yeah. Yeah. I that's the thing. Like I'm impressed with what it looks like. At no point did they cheap out on any of the sets or anything in this.
yeah, but yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to watch the new Mario movie when it comes out. Of course, it'll be nothing like this, but oh yeah, it was pretty good VHS and memories. Yeah, do you have anything else that you wanted to add or say or can think of?
Well, I mean, like, I expected to be really disappointed in this, and I wasn't. So, I mean, I guess the main thing goes to like Bob Hoskins and Dennis Hopper carried this film as far as acting is concerned. Everyone else
Hmm.
was kind of
Off.
off, yeah, and felt really forced.
Except for
But
the I like the brothers. I think their acting was just under theirs. Like obviously Bob and whoever were a lot better, but like I'd put the brothers next or whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 for sure. Yeah, I was more impressed than I thought I would be. And I mean, as with any movie that is this long, the
Yeah.
first act is gonna drag. But
Hmm.
yeah, for sure. Like, will I ever watch it again? Probably not. But I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad
Yeah.
I
There's
didn't go
yeah.
my whole life and not
Not
see it.
see it. Yeah, no, I'm happy that I could get you to watch it, kind of thing, or like we came up with thinking of to watch it, you know. But I'm glad we recommended it and we agreed to watch it because like it's worth seeing, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And you
for
know
sure.
what, another thing about it that I just always forget that I want to mention was like you know at the end, like in this other poster they show it, like they show him with like Koopa with the gun, but he has the dinosaur like head, but it's like human like, and even has the red lips like a real Bowser kind of. Like it's
Right.
weird. Like they show him like in that dinosaur form, even on this poster, where he's like a human dinosaur guy. Like they should have had that. Like he should have been like that for like at least at the end of the movie. Like he turned it like have Dennis Hopper, but then have him like at least turn into a monster for like the last 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for
But
sure.
I just have to say that because like I'd like that part. I'll add this with the ray gun because it's just like he looks like a total boss, and he is a boss. But yeah, no, yeah, that's so. I'm so happy you got to see it, man. And yeah, for me, it's like it's a weird thing. The beginning's so drug out, and then it gets really good when they're in the suits for me. But it's not a full Mario movie. But I enjoyed it. It was cool to see again, and yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'd recommend it. Like you said, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Right.
yeah, for sure.
Well, that wraps it up for this week. Thank you for watching, as always, everyone. Make sure to give Grubgun a follow. Go check out his channel. He's got some awesome rant videos plus Transformers reviews on top of other things. And yeah, thank you for being here. Yeah, make sure if you have any Q&As or questions you want to ask us and get featured in the podcast, make sure to ask them down in the comments below, and we'll feature it in the podcast. But yeah, on the march to 20 episodes, we're getting there. Yeah, I think I said I'd do a giveaway once a certain amount of episodes I'll hit 100 views. Still thinking about doing that soon, so watch out for that. Probably be on Instagram, but I'll promote it here first, so stick around for that. Maybe I'll put that in the next podcast. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. We got the VHS, some Transformers news, so much other stuff coming out, and yeah, we'll have another one. But thank you as always. Make sure to like, share, and yeah, comment. It really helps me out. And yeah, just trying to grow the podcast and grow the channel and all that good stuff. But thank you as always. Take care of yourself, everybody. Stay strong, stay safe, stay positive. And this dolphin might even catch you up on the flip side, y'all. Bye.